New video time. Guys, I am Yard Offside FM, and it is very nice to see you again. This is episode 13 of the Triumph, my Football Manager 2017 Let's Play series as Hell's Teeth FC in the Tuvalu and A division. Guys, it is Cup Final Day. I am so excited to be here with you. We have made it to the final of the Independence Cup. You will remember in episode 12, we took on Manu Laiva here, and we won that match 3-1, and it sent us to the final of the Independence Cup. We didn't know at the time who our opponents would be. I will show you. And we are going to be doing this game in the live com today. It is against our nemesis Luamotu, who I still have not forgiven for that 4-4 draw that we were forced to endure back during the 2016 season. It was in the A division. We were up 4-1, and then somehow, even after being 3 goals up at halftime, Luamotu came and they FM'd us. They really FM'd us, and I still have not forgiven them, guys. Luamotu, though, they are a good team, with no disrespect to them, not trying to cast aspersions or anything. The Wolves are a very good team, and as you can see this year, they're doing pretty well in the A division. They're only down in 5th at the moment, but they have several games in hand over the teams above them, as do we. So, since we're here, let's just have a look at it. We've moved up to 3rd in the A division. I believe we've only played 1 A division match since we last spoke. I could be speaking out of turn. I believe it's only been 1 match, though. We did win it, and we are now within 3 points of leaders, Lacania United. So, yeah, guys, let's have a look at the fixtures here. The Manu Laiva result, you will, of course, remember. We then had a match against Lacania United, who were 6 points clear of us at the time. We hammered them 5-0, guys. This was an outstanding result. The team showed a lot of collective spirit, and Samaya Moeaga just has continued his outstanding late-season form for us, scoring another hat trick yet after just 1 game, really only a week after he put forward a superb effort against Manu Laiva in the live com that you guys saw. James Lapaio also got himself a brace to round things out there, and that result obviously brought us much closer to Lacania United, and it has completely erased the goal deficit issues that we had in the table, and now really the title is well within our sights thanks to this result here. The next result we had was against Tofaga. It was 1-1 after 90 minutes of regular time and a half hour of extra time, and we won on penalties, guys. Now, you'll remember in Season 1, after Regen Day happened, I decided, let's put a whole team full of our new Regens out there. And I decided to do the same thing this year, guys. I figured, Tofaga, a much better team than us. It's the Christmas Cup, and it was only a quarterfinal. I figured we were probably going to lose anyway. I just put the Regens out there again. And what do you know? They did it again. Another great result for our Regen team. 1-1. They did ever so well to come back from George Panapa's 16th minute opening goal for Tofaga. And they won it on penalties, guys. Obviously, most of the Regens that played in this match have now been released on freeze because they're pretty horrible players. But let's have a look at the players who have stayed. Take a look at the intake here. You guys will remember that we very pleasingly managed to persuade the board to increase our junior coaching, which, as a consequence, oh dear, I have completely done a fuck up here and not sent us to the world profile like I wanted to. But we persuaded our board to switch us over to basic junior coaching, which is an improvement over all the other teams in Tuvalu, which means we're going to have players with higher overalls coming in on Regen Day. And while I think things could have been a little bit better in terms of our production, we did manage to find some very, very good players in this batch of 16 here. I've kept 4 of them, and I'll show you the guys who we still have in our team now. So first of all, there's Malona Vailele. This guy's a center back, and he's come in and essentially he's first team quality already. He's 2.5 stars, as good as Naisali Alisana, who's another very young center back that we brought in, I believe, in the January transfer window at the start of the series. And Alisana, well, he's had his growing pains, has been pretty good and really sort of deserved his transfer, and I think Vailele could be as good, if not even better. Pretty good physicals. He has some room for improvement in that area, but it's really in his mentals and to a certain extent in his technicals where he really shines. You look at this guy's mentals here: Vailele, 12 on decisions, 15 in determination, 11 in teamwork. Leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of work rate, but as a defender, I guess that's not the end of the world. Hopefully he'll be able to get back if we're sort of in a one-on-one situation and we really need to close somebody down. And as you can see over here in the technicals, not great, but he does have 6 tackling and 10 heading, obviously crucial attributes for center backs. So I think he can really develop into an excellent player. He has obviously had an 8.1 in the match against Tofaga, and that was good enough to make him man of the match in that event. Next up, let's go over to Tusitapu Semaya. He is a right-wing type of player. Not a guy who I really rated very highly just looking at him, but he played very, very well indeed in the game against Tofaga. Pretty good physicals, as you can see. A lot of them under 10, but many of them close to 10. Like to see that strength be a little bit higher. And then he has a number of okay mentals, a little bit uneven, and that is sometimes a little bit worrying. His technicals obviously need a lot of work. Next up, let's move into the guy who's actually going to be in the first team, and I'll explain why in a bit. Luamotu. He was the goal scorer against Tofaga. This striker, he's 6'1", but he seems to be a little bit on the sort of timid side when it comes to his heading ability. Only 4, as you can see, and his jumping reach is a 6. So really, that's going to need to be worked on. But other than that, he's a pretty okay striker when with finishing of 13. That is very good indeed. And if we can get his physicals up, I think he could be a real sort of target for the future. This guy is somebody who I'm really looking forward to his development, and I think he may be the best regen that we have collected in this recent crop. Finally, we have Luamotu Athletic. He's a fullback. He's really sort of the weakest of the bunch in terms of the regens that we've brought in. Although, as you can see, he's got very good acceleration and pace, so he's a quick player, and that's always beneficial. And he did play quite well with a 7.3 rating coming in. We used the Fenuatapu 4-3-2-1 formation, which does use fullbacks, and he performed very, very well. So, sort of, if this guy turns out to not be developing very well, I can always drop him on a free. I thought I should reward him for his very good performance. So, you guys will notice, why are we using this 16-year-old regen Luamotu when we have a great option like Taumafai Tui? Well, you remember that 22nd, 23rd minute injury that forced us to take Taumafai Tui out during the last live com we had against Luamotu? Well, turns out it was fairly serious. A back strain is going to keep him out for 2 more weeks here. It's a little bit unfortunate, but Taumafai Tui was maybe not in the best of form, at least relative to our other strikers. And so this is not the end of the world, and it does give us a chance to really blood in this new young lad, Luamotu here. If we look at the rest of our starting 11, we obviously have Tapase in goal as usual. Alasana, I mentioned him earlier. He'll be playing next to Ofati and Sio at the back. Liu and Limalofa are wingers as usual, Pearson, and of course the stalwart Luamotu Athletic, who we've been using in a number of different positions since he came to the club back in August, I think it was. I believe he came in August. And he can play in a number of different positions, as you can see, which is very handy. And he's quite good as a ball-winning midfielder. So I'm hoping that he can continue his very good performances for us. I mentioned Tui is going to be starting, and we'll also have James Lapayo and Samaya Moeaga, the man in absolutely fiery form, starting up front for us in the target man role. As for Luamotu, they come into this match in, as I mentioned, pretty good form in the A division. They finished the group stage with only 1 loss, I believe, if I remember correctly. Let's have a look at the Independence Cup group stage right here. So they did lose 1 match. That was to Tamanuku, but they did finish off the group stage with 3 consecutive wins after really being in pretty dire position at the start of the competition. Luamotu, a tough team. They brought in some very good transfers back in January, and it's really turned them into a contender. I expect they will give us a real good run for our money if we try to make a cup run. Speaking of competitions, guys, there's just one more thing we should talk about. We have been drawn against Nanu Maga in the semifinal of the Christmas Cup, having gone through on penalties in the quarterfinal. I'm not planning on live coming this match as it's pretty quick down the road for us. It's only 2 games away. And my logic is, you know what, if we beat Nanu Maga, you guys would probably rather see the final anyway. And if we lose it, who wants to watch us lose a semifinal? Boring. So let's get into the match here against Luamotu. I don't know if I've sorted out my substitutes. Well, we'll have to find out. Still only 206 tickets sold here at the Tuvalu Sports Ground. This is a cup final, and that's kind of a bummer. I'd like the fans to be packing in the stands. I mean, this is the Orange Demons' first chance to really win some silverware. Disloyalty. We're going to cancel the season ticket packages of all of our season ticket holders for this disgrace, this huge miscarriage of justice. We've already talked about our starting 11. Let's get right into this. We are going to proceed to the match. Thank you, FM, for your ever so useful notices. Mile Limalofa, only sort of 2 points, if you will, at the wide midfielder defend. Limalofa is something we're going to have to look at in the January transfer window because he has been pretty disappointing since we brought him in, I have to say. Luamotu have scored a lot of their goals from crosses, and we will have a big battle on our hands to keep such opportunities to a minimum. Well, that makes me wonder if I should have started Masoli Eti, our very, very tall center back. That could be a warning. Well, we'll see what happens here, and if we do have to switch things over, we'll do the best we can, I suppose. We do have Silao, a center back, on our bench if anybody's playing very, very poorly. All right, so getting into the match here, as always, I do need to turn my sound off because you guys don't need to hear that obnoxious referee blowing his whistle. Okay, so into the pep talk here. As usual, we've been told to tell our players that we're on a good run and that we need to keep it up. I'm a broken record about this, but it is dangerous to keep giving your players the same team talk because eventually they're going to I feel like it's getting a little bit boring, but we're gonna put some pressure on them here. Tell them we should be winning this match without any problem at all, and then I'll tell them, of course, that I have faith in them, guys. If you have any suggestions about the team talks that I do, maybe you think I shouldn't be telling the guys I have faith in them all the time. That's just something I've always done, and it usually seems to get good results to have players with high morale. But obviously, things can kind of wear themselves out. And if you have any other suggestions, please leave a comment. So we've kicked things off here. Ofati is on the ball now, and he'll launch it long for Samaya Moeaga, who gets his head to it, but Kelamene manages to handle that. Looks like Luamotu using a 4-5-1 or a 4-3-3 here. I didn't actually look while we were going to the match. I was so busy listening to the sound of my own voice. Ooh, that shot is on target, and it has gone off the post and in. Luamotu leading here in the Independence Cup final with a second-minute goal. Looks like we are going to have some work to do to come back. Perhaps I should have used the more attacking formation. Yeah, Etimani really just carved us open there, just threaded into the middle and that's quite poor goalkeeping. Really quite poor goalkeeping. Bit of a letdown from Tapase, who's usually so outstanding, but they do always say in football, you as a goalkeeper, you want to get an early touch, and if you don't, it can sort of lead to things like that happening, I suppose. Tui finds Moeaga. He gets a shot on target. Luamotu's goalkeeper, also named Tapase, no relation, I assume, manages to palm that away. Eliu will whip in this corner, looks near post, but Etimani intercepts that. And we're looking at recycling possession from the back now. Tusela tries to find Moeaga, but that's headed away. And could be another opportunity here. It is 2-0 to Luamotu, and we need to make a change, I think. To be 2-0 down, Alasana looks to be at fault for the goal. As I mentioned, it's been an up-and-down year for him, and this is yet another pretty dreadful event. Do I risk going over to the Awendo here? That's very, very poor indeed. That needs to be headed away. To be found on the back post like that, I think he was unmarked. We are going to go over to the Awendo here. Try and get a goal back before halftime. I think that's pretty pretty crucial. I think it'll be helpful to use Tui in his more familiar striker position. Moeaga, I think we'll leave it complete forward, or am I better off putting Tui there? I suppose it doesn't matter. I guess I'd rather have Tui dropping back into a little bit closer to midfield, although how is his link-up play? You know what? Let's use Lapayo there. We'll put Tui at poacher and go with this. And hopefully we can get something out of this here. I'm not panicking, but 2-0 down is a mountain to climb, and it's so early. We've been on one of those big unbeaten runs, and I find that anytime the press starts to really big you up and compliment you, Lapayo could have a chance here, saved by Tapase, Luamotu's goalkeeper. Anytime the press starts to big you up and say, you're on a big run, can you keep it going? It's kind of an albatross that weighs over your team, and there's not really anything you could say to stop the psychological damage of it. Moeaga could get a flick on here. He does. Tui. Oof, that's a nice shot. It seemed to have a lot of pace on it, and it required a good save from Luamotu's goalkeeper, who's playing very, very well. Lima Lofa had a chance to get ahead on that, but once again, Luamotu defend superbly well. Luamotu could have another highlight here, and are we looking at 3-0 down before the half-hour mark? Just chop him down, Afati. Timoani, lots of space, and he completely skies that. What an atrocious finish that was. Seemed to be completely under the cosh here, aside from the odd counterattack. Aliu will look for Tui. Tui seemed to have a bit of pace. He is playing well, Lua Tui. Manages to strip his man there. Tui, again, pulls it back. Not sure what that was. Looks like he was trying to send it back out to the wing for Lima Lofa. Aliu strips his man. Some good tackling here. Tui, Moeaga in space. Wow, over the bar from Samaya Moeaga. And you would really have put your house on him to score in that situation. He was a little far away from goal, I suppose, but still. At least put it on target. Timoani, Alasana. Timoani again. Tapase does manage to get a hand to it, but it'll be another corner. Being told that Tofikai Pearson has made a lot of mistakes today. Not good to hear that your captain is committing a lot of errors. I'm not sure what else I can do. We've gone to this attacking formation. That was a horrible throw-in, by the way. Lapayo manages to keep it in. Aliu finds Moeaga with a long ball. He should look for Tui, unless he can find a better option. He doesn't. Lapayo on the ball now. Aliu, Moeaga, Aliu to Sela. Some good passing here. Ooh, Moeaga to Tui. Gets it on target. He's probably been our best forward thus far today, Lua Tui. So the 16-year-old doing very well. Aliu, we've got to start converting these corners. I believe that's our third of the match, and none of them have been even close. Aliu with the throw in. Lima Lofa has a lot of space. That's a back post cross. Good idea, but just seemed like, I think that was James Lapayo there. Was nowhere near it. Sio just hoofs it, as he should. Alasana will get to this. Looks like Lapayo could find some space here on the right. Moeaga has halved the deficit. Well done, Samaya Moeaga, and his scoring streak continues. It is 2-1 in the 39th minute. Looks like we'll head into halftime at least with a chance now. Now watch, I've jinxed it. Moeaga putting that very, very high. Looks like it may have even been headed over. Just creeped in under the bar. So thus far, it looks like moving over to the Awendo was a smart decision. That's a great ball for Lima Lofa there. Lima Lofa dispossessed. His woes continue. Now watch, he'll score and prove me wrong. I would take that. Moeaga, really would have liked to see not Alasana. Really would have liked to see James Lapayo running into a channel there for Moeaga, but we do still have possession. Lapayo, Aliu to Sela. Tusela gives it up, and now there's a 3-on-4 situation. Timawani has found space on the left, shoots that from a tight angle. Tapase was equal to it, but he has committed some blunders today. That's the sort of thing where you don't want to see Luamotu getting any shots on target. we don't want to be getting countered against here. So shall I make a change? Alisana's not played well. Pearson on a 6.1. That's really horrific. I think I do need to make a change. The question is, who do I bring on? And in central midfield, I do have Faka Tawafe, and he's not in amazing form. Didn't we use him against Manu Laiva and he played all right? I guess let's bring on Faka Tawafe. I'm very hesitant to bring off Pearson. This is, I think, going to be very possibly a horrible decision. But we do need to change something here. We'll move Tusela over since he's slightly better in terms of being a creative player. We've switched formations, so now the left-sided central midfielder is the more defensive-minded player. Tusela better there, Fakatuafe better at advanced playmaker. That makes sense. Okay, so we've made one change. Could be a horrific decision to bring off a player of great quality like Tofikai Pearson. I am not sure. It's always such a gamble with these things in FM. You never know, do you? You never know. Let's tell them we can still come out of this match with a win today. Not another cup final defeat. That would be so disappointing after that Nui loss on penalties at the end of season 1, the 2016 season, when we were in the Christmas Cup final. I think we played pretty well against Nui. You know, we really neutralized what for the entire 2016 season had been such a really deadly attack. But then they just did us on penalties. It's just bad luck, you know, the lottery of penalties. If we were to lose this match this way, that would in a way be so much more disappointing. That is a horrendous ball out to the wing from Faka Tawafe. I mean, this formation does, you know, spread players wide and, you know, ask us to clear the ball out to the flanks, but he's got to be better than that. Lima Lofa, Faka Tawafe, trying to redeem himself, doesn't even come close. Tusela looks for Aliu on the right. Luckily, Ofati brings that down. Lapayo is in space. He's finished it. And we are 2-2 here at the Tuvalu Sports Ground. James Lapayo, another player in great form, gets himself a goal, and it's 2-2. All right, now do we switch back over to the Tengako? I think we keep our foot on the gas here and try to get 3. I mean, we were so poor using the Tengako, the more defensive formation early on. Let's just... Sio had a lot of space. He should have shot it. Fakatuafe does and misses. Sio really needed to take that first time. I don't think it would be a good idea for us to try and reorient ourselves. This corner from Luamotu is headed away by Ofati. That's good news. Need to close these guys down though, because they will find people running around the outside. That's always our Achilles heel. Maybe this is a good match to go over to the Vanuatu. I don't know. I'm overthinking things. Tapase spills that. Oh dear, that could have been 3-2. Oh, I'm feeling the nerves here, guys. Under the Kosh once again. That should be offside. Looks perhaps to be offside. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Is there any answer anywhere? Oh, ball over the top. Pataya is going to find that, and Timuani finishes it to make it 3-2. Well, maybe I should have gone over to the defensive Tengaku. Maybe. Everything is maybes in FM. We are trailing once again in the Independence Cup final. Plenty of goals in this one. It's a great one for the neutrals to watch. Pataya really should not have been allowed to just run behind us right there. But as I said, Luamotu, a very, very good team in attack themselves. And now we've got to dig in and find something here because we are trailing once again. Lima Lofa, he's been quite poor. I don't believe I have any options to bring on from the bench for wingers. Lima Lofa gets it away to Tusela. Faka Tawafe dispossessed. Not good from Faka Tawafe thus far, and perhaps taking off Pearson was a very bad decision. Sio misses that. Goes off the bar. The rebound is put on target. Tapase comes good for it. Ooh. Wow. Really a free header. It looks like that was Lima Lofa, who I've been slagging off all day long. Manages to clear that off the line. I think we should make another substitution here. We are behind. Certainly seems like it would be a good idea to bring on another striker. Luatui on a 6.7. He's not been terrible But I do kind of wonder if this is Vaisua Feoto time. I think we do need to bring him on, just because he's had such a good year, and he's certainly entitled to come on and make himself a hero now. He's a decent penalty taker as well if things do come to that. Should I tell him to be calm because there's no pressure, or are we better off telling him we have faith? I'm gonna tell him he's younger, so I'm gonna tell him he is still 17. I forget. So let's tell him there's no pressure. He seems relaxed, and that is good. Hopefully he's not too relaxed, because it would be such a disappointment to lose this one. Luamotu, a good team. Not trying to take anything away from them, but really, really would be nice to get some silverware here. I mean, the treble is on, guys. We're in the semifinal of the Christmas Cup, obviously in the final here of the Independence Cup. That cross is deflected. Luckily, Etemani can't do anything with it, and we're in really good shape to possibly win the A division. So I was really hoping to get a trophy here and start the treble. Tapase way off his line. Luckily, Etemani misses. Luamotu have had so many chances to bring back their 2-goal advantage, and they've missed it. Maybe we can make them pay for that. Maybe. It looks like we do have a highlight here. Let's watch this before I send us to overload, which is what I was planning on doing. Lapayo! Oh, we needed to finish that. Eliu puts that back in. Just misses the back post. That was an absolute sitter from James Lapayo. He didn't have a lot of time to think about it, but he was in a lot of space. All right. We're going overload. We're going to up the tempo to higher. Do we have pump the ball into the box on? No. Let's do that. All right. Come on, boys. 12 minutes left here. Ofati, we'll get to that, but Luamotu still in possession. Alasana skinned again. Actually, that was not Alasana. I apologize. He's 13. Not sure who that was. That would have been Sio, looks like, on the left side. 7 minutes to go. Looks like a highlight here, but it could very well be for Luamotu. We have gone overload. Tini Lau. It looks like that was tackled away. Could we find something on the counterattack here? Lapayo just chucks it long for Moeaga. Samaya collects it. He's under a lot of pressure, manages to get it out to the wing, and Luamotu could launch one here. It looks like they do have a chance on the break. Tapase with a absolutely clutch save. He had to come good to that. If we had conceded then, that's curtains. Another corner for Luamotu, though. Fakatwafe gets it away. Moeaga had some space. That's the end of the highlight. Lima Lofa to Sela. Can't find Fakatwafe. Huge problems in the central midfield positions today. They've really not been good enough. Lima Lofa loses it on the left, and my patience is running very thin with Lima Lofa on the left wing. I do think we're going to have to look to improve that position, guys. Lima Lofa was supposed to be a great player. Eliu, that corner comes to nothing. And Eliu has not shown any desire to go and get that. I think this is slipping away from us. Looks like we are going to go out. Alasana fouls his man, and I think he may go in the book here. No. Just ticked off by the referee. Tini Lau in the 88th minute. Tapase. We have one more sub, and I suppose we should probably use it. Feoto's been non-existent thus far. Alasana over the top again. Boy, that over-the-top ball. And they have scored. It's 4-2. Looks like we are going to lose in the Independence Cup final. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Luamotu do us again. They just have a habit of really ripping our defense to shreds, and I think it's because they really out Hell's Teeth. They play incredibly direct, just hoof it over the top and hope that our 3-man back line won't get back soon enough. And it appears to have worked today. 2 goals down here, but we are in stoppage time, and I believe this should be the closing highlight of the match. It is. Well, guys, that's a disappointment. A second cup final for Hell's Teeth, and yet again we've come up short. I don't know what to say. There's a lot of different things that I think contributed to this. Perhaps we were overrun in midfield, gauging from the fact that Pearson was awful. Toluona Tusela was pretty awful. Fakatawafe on a 6.4, I think, belies how poor he really was. I'm obviously very, very disappointed, quite excited coming into this match. I really thought, we were in good shape. Well, let's just tell them unlucky. You know what? You were not good enough today. Only one player motivated, and it was Naisali Alasana, who was definitely not good enough today. So some definite questions. Alasana, an issue. As I mentioned, the central midfield, very poor. So that's yet another cup final, as I mentioned, guys, that we have lost. And the double is still on, so to look at things positively speaking, we do have a decent chance here, but our unbeaten run comes to an end, and once again we leave Tuvalu Sports Ground with no silverware. We take on Luamotu in our next match in the league, immediate chance for us to get revenge in 2 weeks. I think in terms of the match that we'll be doing, it's obviously going to be one of these A division matches somewhere in this region, or maybe I will just go to the end of the season. I'm not sure, guys. Let's see what we have in the middle here. Tamanuku, they're in 8th, not very good. Hamiamimi in 2nd, but they have a huge number of extra games they've already played, and I expect they'll drop down the table, so it may not be that interesting of a match to do. Maybe we will see you guys for either the end of season match against Nauti or the Christmas Cup final. If we make it that far, of course, knock on wood. We'll see what happens. Maybe if one of these teams, continue to, if Hame and Mimi somehow stay really high in the table, that might be a good match to do. Huge rivalry, as I've mentioned, I think for the last 3 live comms. I can't stand Hame and Mimi. They always just fuck us over. So perhaps this match, but for now we'll plan on doing an end of season live comm for episode 14. Sorry things couldn't have turned out better in this one, guys, but this has been Yard Offside FM. Please like, please subscribe, and please come back for episode 14 of The Triumph.